Okay, so we're continuing on our Blynk project here with our ESP32, and we got, nope, this is what I want right here. Okay, so we got our Blynk console here with our template, and currently on our dashboard, we've got this thing to control our LED turn on and off, this thing that responds to our button state. Then we added this range display and this slider, so I'm going to show you how to integrate those real quick, and then we're going to kind of modify this to give us kind of temperature, humidity, and like pressure measurements. Okay, so let's start by looking at the slider. This is connected to V2 here, and so coming back to here, we need to make a blink right function to grab that, just like that. We'll call this V2, and we'll just print out the value for now. Okay, and we run that, and then we'll be able to grab that value. In the meantime, in order to update the value on that gauge, what we're going to do is we're going to use something called a Blynk timer, and I've got it just a note here on how I did implemented it, and I'll use that. And so, let's see, we'll go ahead and come up to here, and we're going to make a timer, Blynk timer, and we'll call it gauge timer. Okay, and then let's also take a look at this. So we got our serial monitor going. We'll go to our dashboard. So we're connecting. Oh, I'm at my, you know what, we'll wait for a minute because I'm at home. So I need to update that because it's not going to connect. Okay, so back to our timer. Now we need like a callback function for our timer. So we'll say void gauge timer callback. Okay. And let's see, do we need any arguments in our callback? No, doesn't look like it. Okay. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to do a blink right. Or we're going to do a virtual pin right or virtual right. Let's see, is that what it's called? Yep, virtual right. So we're going to do blink dot virtual right here. And let's stick it right there. Okay. And then we're going to write to V3. And we're just going to do, like, we'll have an increment. So we'll say uint 8t counter equals 0. And then we'll do counter plus plus. Okay. And so it'll increment and then it'll wrap around when it gets to 256 because it's 8-bit. Okay. And now we got to initialize our timer. So we're going to do timer dot set. Nope, sorry, we called it gauge timer dot set interval. And we'll set it to be maybe like 400. And our function will be gauge timer callback. Okay. And then all we got left to do is we want to stick right here, gauge timer dot run. And so we got a run function for that and a run function for Blynk. And that's everything we need. So let's upload one more time. And then we'll open up our dashboard here. So we're going to go to devices, grab our dashboard here. Okay. And so we'll try out moving our slider here and our range display there once this finishes. Okay, so we're connected to Blynk here. Take a look at our dashboard. And you can see our range display is counting up, right? Because we're just setting a bigger and bigger values over time, and it's slowly growing. And our slider, I change that value, so 96, 199, 33, and I'll get those values right down here. Okay, so my slider's working, and my gauge is working, and that's great. And the next thing we're gonna do is like something maybe a little more practical, is we're gonna modify this. So instead of having a single gauge, maybe we have like 3 gauges, and we're gonna get data from our from a sensor. So I picked up some of these sensors here, and so this is a combination of an AHT20, which is for measuring temperature and humidity, and the BMP280, which is for measuring like atmospheric pressure. And so this will give us temperature, humidity, and pressure measurements, and we can log those on our dashboard, which is kind of interesting, right, to see like how the temperature is changing over time. Nope, didn't mean to click that. You can actually get a sensor for your phone if you want to. But that's not what we're doing here. So let's come back to here. Okay, and so we're gonna make like some files here. So we're gonna like sensors.h and sensors.cpp, and we'll go ahead and use our include guards. I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger here. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to have a function to initialize the sensors. So and a function to read the sensors. Okay. And then this function that's going to read them is going to return like a struct for us. So we'll call it so sensor data type, and then we'll make that here. So type def struct sensor data type. And we'll put this down at the bottom so we can just refer to it as sensor data type. Okay. And then we'll have float temperature humidity and float pressure. Okay. I think we're good here. And looking at my right here, so we'll say the temperature is in Fahrenheit, humidity is going to be % and pressure will be in I'm not sure. We'll come back to that one. Okay, what we want to get in there. Okay. And so now let's grab these two guys. And oops, I put this in the wrong file. So let me put this in the sensors.h file. There we go. And actually, let's do this. Before we even implement this stuff, let's go to main and we'll call init sensors here. And all that tabbing is weird there. So we say include our sensors.h. Okay. And then we will, on our callback here, we're going to read sensors. And we'll say sensor type, the sensor data type, sensor data tools. Okay. And now we'll handle those virtual writes by passing those different pieces of sensor data. Okay. And so now coming to here, we have to actually implement those functions. Okay. And so the first thing we have to do is we have to include our libraries. And so we're going to go to our configuration here. Click on libraries. Okay. Now we want AHT X0. And we're going to add this one right here. We add that sensor. Okay, and we see it got added here under our library dependencies, and we'll go ahead and add the other one too now. which is the BMP280. All right, so we'll add this one as well. Add to project. Okay, so we got those libraries on our project. I got the BMP280 library there, and so now we're going to include them. So kind of include also the Arduino library. Okay, so we got our libraries. Now we're going to make our initialization function. So first we'll initialize the AHT. So we'll make a AHT object, Adafruit HT, just like that. Okay, and then we're going to call if not AHT. So we're going to initialize, right? So AHT dot begin. Okay. And I think we can just leave it like this. But what it's going to do is this is going to return whether or not it was successful or not. And so we're going to wrap this statement. And then if you were building something that needed to be a little bit more like complex, maybe you could have a way to handle like when this fails what you want to do. But for now, what we'll do is serial print ln did not detect AHT. And then we'll have a delay of like 500. Maybe we'll do this as a while, and so it keeps trying. Okay, and so like if you have your wires flipped on the connection. So these are one of the things I didn't mention. Let's come back to here. Is that these are I2C sensors, and so this is the sensor we're looking at, and this is how we connect it. And so the VDD goes to the 3.3 volt. Ground is going to go to ground right there. And we have SDA coming here on pin 21. And we have SCL coming here on pin 22. And so these are kind of the default I2C pins on the ESP32 kind of dev kit that we have here. And this is going to be on that I2C bus. So they both are going to have a different address, and it's going to kind of talk to them separately. But because it's I2C, you can do that, right? They just use addresses to communicate to each one. Okay, so coming back to here. So we'll take a look at this again, but this is how we're going to wire it up with those 4 pins there going like this. Okay, we'll take a look at that once we get this written though. And so now we're going to make our Adafruit .280 object, and I'll just call it BMP. And so we'll not BMP.begin. And so you did not detect BMP. Okay. And so this is good. We got everything initialized. And then if this one connects, we're going to say BMP.set sampling. And so there's some configuration stuff here. We're going to set it to go mode normal. And then we have to set the sampling interval here. Butcher. So we'll just go with I don't know. MP280 sampling. We'll go 2 times here for temperature. Set it for the pressure. We'll go X16 for the pressure. And then I'm going to set a filter. Maybe times 16. I don't know. If we're getting weird values, we could change these things. I'm not too worried about them for now, though. And then we gotta set a standby duration. We go to here. Doesn't really tell us that much more about this. Go to declaration. Yeah, not much information about that. So I'm sure on their website they probably have some more documentation. But we set our sampling, okay, and we'll give us a note. We're going to say serial.println successfully initialized BMP and what was the other one? AHT. Okay, and there we go. Now we just got to read those sensors. So we're going to make a function here to read those sensors. And we'll say float pressure, temperature, and humidity. Yeah. So we're going to initialize those all at the beginning. And then we're going to return them temperature. Let's look at our struct. Temperature, humidity, pressure. So temperature, humidity, pressure. Okay. This is one way to do it. We can just temperature. It doesn't like that. Why don't you? Okay. Well, what we'll do instead is we'll make a sensor data type object. Sensor data. Oh, it's because we have to include this, or say include sensors.h. Okay, that will solve that problem. Okay, now it will work. Okay, so now we're going to read the sensors. So we're going to do sensor event type. Say humidity. Get rid of this. Say sensor data type. Yeah, because we're going to get confusing naming here. Humidity. Okay. And so now we're going to use the AHT to get the temperature and humidity. So we're going to pass into here a reference to the humidity and the temperature. Okay. And that will get those values for us. Okay. And then let's say that we want to take our temp, and so we're going to say sensor data dot temperature Fahrenheit equals temp dot temperature, and we're going to convert it to Fahrenheit. And so times 9/5 plus 32. Okay, because it's coming to us in Celsius. Okay, so we get that. And then let's replace this with just sensor data. Okay. And now we'll go ahead and just grab our humidity. So sensor data dot humidity equals humidity dot well. All right, and so now we're going to get the pressure, and so we'll say sensor data dot pressure equals BMP dot read pressure, barometric pressure. Well, no, what we're getting, and we're getting pascals here. What units we want here? Let me do some research. Okay, so it looks like we use inches of mercury for barometric pressure, so that's what we're going to use here. And so coming back to here, we got our sample, so it's in pascals currently, and so to convert it to inches of mercury, we're going to multiply it by 0.23295. Okay, and that'll give us the inches of mercury, and now I got all of our sensors read. And now let's come back to here. And so in our callback, let's make our timer slower. Since these are bigger values, let's say every like 10,000 seconds for now, and then we can change it later if we want. That was for our timer interval. And then we'll write, we're going to connect V2 to gauge as well. So we'll say V2, V3, and V4. And we'll say V2 is temperature. So sensor data dot temperature in Fahrenheit. And this one will be sensor data dot humidity. This one will be sensor data dot pressure. Okay. Oh, semicolon there. Okay, so that's done. The next step now is to go to Blynk and set up those gauges in our dashboard. Okay, so come back to here. We'll go to our template. Okay, so let's go to our template here. And we're going to manage our data streams. We're going to go to edit. All right, so we're going to change this one. I don't know if I can just edit it. Let's see. I can copy it or delete it. So I'm going to kind of do it. There we go. Okay, so we'll call this one, I think we said temperature, right? So temperature 2, and this is going to be double. And so let's see, our units are Fahrenheit. And I think the minimum temperature will go with 0. And for max, maybe we'll say like 120. Okay, we'll leave it to go with 1 decimal place. Okay. And we'll enable history data there. Okay. So that's V2 there on temperature. And then we're going to say humidity. Okay. And that will also be a double. The max will be, in this case, 100. And the units are percent. Okay, so that's percent humidity. We'll click save. And we'll select 1 decimal point. And then we'll add one more here for the pressure. Virtual pin. So we'll call it pressure V4. And this will also be a double. And I have no idea what our range should be. So let's see. What are ranges of atmospheric pressure in inches of Mercury. Okay, so 773. At sea level, it's around 750. Average 24.7. Oh, it gets really low. Wow. So we'll go we'll start with 0 to 1,000. We'll see if that makes sense. And we can change it if we need to. So come back to here. Okay, 0 to 1,000, and we'll keep 1 decimal there. Okay,